Welcome to A Father's Note, where we promote fatherhood through building men. I am your host, Lionel Nelson, and to my left,
His co-host, okay, Sharella Nelson.
yeah, my beautiful wife, cream in my hot coffee,
Uh-huh. And
and
the sugar in your iced tea.
sugar. Man, I'll tell you, man, better than what's some of them sugar brands out there?
Dominoes,
Domino's, better
Dixie
than
Crystal.
Domino's. Yep, that too. Oh, Dixie Crystal, old, huh?
I know.
That's an old brand, yeah. But you still got them all beat though. Yeah, but anyway, we're here again. We welcome back to another episode. This is episode 6 of our Love and Marriage series.
Yes.
And we took last week off for the Super Bowl.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I didn't have a team in this game, you all. I was just there rooting and supporting and just hanging out with the fellas, from the church. So it was a good event, time out, and great fellowship. So,
Hmm.
yeah, but you ready to do this stuff?
I'm ready.
Well, we got some little preliminary stuff we need to get out because due to the fact that we've been talking about love and marriage, uh, we believe that we have a couple of books that we want to acknowledge that we believe that would be very, 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 very helpful
Hmm.
to your relationship in whatever capacity, if they should apply to you. But we want to point out this book here, acknowledge this book, Diary of a Virtuous Wife. This book here was written by my mother
Hmm.
and it's titled How to Live with Infidelity and Win Doing It God's Way. And in the introduction, she's wrote this. It says that it was 1969 when my husband confessed he committed infidelity. Words could not begin to express the amount of hurt and brokenness I felt at that time. For my husband of 13 years to reveal he committed adultery was one thing, but to conceive two children with the same woman was the ultimate betrayal. I asked myself, how could I endure the strain he placed on our marriage and family? How could I accept this betrayal of my love and trust? I had a decision to make where his acts I had a decision to make where his acts were grounds for divorce, without a doubt, without a doubt. But instead, I chose to take my marriage to God. Of course, it was not easy, but I made up my mind that I would stay in the marriage and handle it God's way. And I am glad that I did. God gave me the strength to stand, the power to endure, the heart to forgive, and the compassion to love. And because she had chose to do it God's way,
Hmm.
they ended up they ended up spending 70 years of their life together. My father transitioned last year, May of last year, of course. But they dated for 4 years and they were married for 66 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
You
And
don't hear about those type of marriages lasting that long. 66 years married?
some marriages don't last 66 days, let alone
Come
66
on, sir.
hours,
Come on.
you know? Yeah, but yeah, that's one book. We encourage you, ladies, because we know infidelity happens into relationships, into marriages. We know that it occurs.
Hmm.
But yet though, it's- what my mother had showed is that if you just hold on and do it God's way,
Hmm.
it'll be a better beneficiary for you. So it's not the end of the world, in essence. And really, you hold that power, the power of love, especially when you do it through God. As you pointed out, God will give you the strength to endure and the strategy and how to come out and win on the end. We have another book here. How about talk to us about this book?
This one is written by a very dear friend of ours, Mrs. Dominique Dumerville, and it's entitled Just Between Us Girls. And let me just give you a little snippet of what she says about it. So it's Just Between Us Girls is designed for Christian women who want answers about love, marriage, sex, and intimacy. Many Christian women seek counsel about these subjects and are often turned away Because many church leaders have a distorted view of sex and sexuality. I don't understand why, but it happens. So, Just Between Us Girls brings biblical perspective into real life applications for the bedroom. There are many scriptural references for love, marriage, sex, and intimacy in the Word of God. It's there, y'all. You got to find it.
Yeah.
For Christian women desiring to please God and her husband, this book will give you the strategies and knowledge to make wise choices regarding love, sex, marriage, and intimacy. So you definitely want this one on your bookshelf.
Yeah, it's a great book. And I read the book, even
Yes.
though it was written for women. I read the book because I wanted to see, hey, what y'all talking about over here?
He knows y'all.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, hey, if I know how you think, then I would know how to, you know, apply, right?
I suppose.
You suppose, it's the truth. Yeah, yeah, but it's a great book. I
It really
encourage it.
is.
I encourage you. Okay, so she's going to encourage the ladies. Okay, I'm going to encourage the men. Get the book. So if you, I don't know why I didn't do this sooner, but if you want to get the book, you can text this number here 954-559-9300. Just put the information in, what book you want, and we'll get that book to you as soon as possible. 954-559-9300. Okay, so we can have all of that out of the way.
Mhm.
And I'm really looking forward to this. Is another one of those interviews I was very looking forward to having, especially
Uh-huh.
because this is a young couple. It's amazing that a lot of the previous couples that we have had on the show, they have had at least 15 years or better. I could think
Right.
it. I would even say 20 years or better of being together, of being together. Not only dating or courting, but as well as marriage. So, but this is the first. This is a young couple. I stand to be corrected, but I believe they just under 3 years, 3 years of marriage.
Well, we'll let them say.
We'll let them say,
Exactly.
okay, then. So without any further ado, we're going to bring on our guests for tonight, Lee and Kendella Baker. Welcome to A Father's Note.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, hey, listen, it's been a while. Long time coming. I definitely had a whole lot of checks on my calendars around this conversation. And listen, while even those who are watching by YouTube, um, listen, why don't you, hey, spread the word, let everybody know we're here, share, comment. Hopefully, those that have been watching by Facebook, maybe they'll make it over here sooner or later,
Yeah,
But we're
hopefully sooner.
Yeah, yeah. But hey, listen, again, welcome to A Father's Note. We want to get right into the questions because we want to get right into the interview, should I say, because we really want to give you time to really to share your experiences, to share your love, to share how you guys came together. And hey, and I see
I'm going to cut him off
all right,
because he's
okay.
just rambling right now. So let's get into it. Tell
All
me,
right.
just tell our listening audience and those that are watching, how did your love story begin?
Okay. You want to start?
Go ahead. You can tell his version first.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. So this started back in 2010. We were. I didn't know who she was. Um, I happened to be going upstairs at the church one day, and I see this young lady coming out of the nursery with her son, and I we locked eyes for a second, and something, it was just like, I want, who is that? So later that night, I saw my mom. I asked her, Mom, this girl that you were talking to upstairs, what's her name? So she told me, that's Kendella, that's Miss Della's daughter. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So then, I paid it no mind. And later on, maybe like a week or so later, I see her on Facebook, and she's requesting to be my friend. So I accept the request, and maybe a minute or two later, she hits me up on the instant message. So we start chatting, and then I got her number, and that's,
Went all
history
again.
after that. Yeah, the rest is
It's
history.
really good, huh?
Yeah,
All right. Okay.
Okay,
that's
so
my version.
what's
All right,
your
all right,
version?
all right.
I'm actually proud of him because that's actually more geared toward what really happened. Because
Okay.
he'd tell everyone we met on Facebook. That's not how we met. That is not how we met.
Okay. All right.
He's
All
being
right.
a little modest. He would say I gave him the eye. I don't know about that. I don't remember. I don't remember that.
Wow.
I don't remember that.
Okay. Okay. All right. All
Well,
right.
I guess both of you
No,
gave
that's
eye because he
wonderful.
said you guys locked eyes for a
Yeah.
minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
My version
Okay. Come on.
was I was told that a lot of the older ladies had a crush on him in the church.
Oh
Oh,
Lord.
God.
You first peek when I said my version. And a mutual friend got wind that I had a little crush on him, and she ran over to him and said, "Hey Lee, you looking to be with somebody?"
Man, matchmaker, huh?
Yeah, right. So
Okay.
he was like, "Yeah, I'm looking." So she kind of put wind in his ear that, hey, she's
Okay.
interested, and then the rest that he said happened.
So Lee, did you know you had some old ladies in the church looking at your man?
No, I didn't.
So then I guess it's safe to say then, Kendella, he only had eyes for you then.
Exactly.
All right. So
Waiting on me.
yeah, whatever. I'm gonna let you rock and roll.
So how long have you been married?
We've been married for 4 years, going on our 5th year in September.
Really?
Oh,
It's been that long?
awesome.
Yeah, it's been that long. 2018,
Oh,
we
wow.
got married.
Yeah.
Wow. We was thinking, okay, well, you know what? I stand corrected then. But okay, so you've been together totally now for 13 years, with dating and courting and marriage.
Yes, 13 years.
Okay, all right. So Lee, when you started with the chatting and the conversation, how did that conversation lead to you all starting the relationship? We know that's how you met, how you were interested in each other.
Right.
What was it that draw you to her, that you wanted her to be your, is it safe to say girlfriend or
Right. At the time, yes.
okay, or lady friend, however you want to phrase it?
Well, I made a list. I had gotten out of a relationship maybe a year and a half prior to meeting her.
Okay.
And through that breakup, I grew closer to God. And so I was asking him, there were things that I saw that, areas where I needed to grow. And then there's things that I wanted that I knew that would help me complete me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made a list. And in that list, she was all of those things. And so through our conversation, not just that conversation on Facebook, but through another conversation we had, God was just showing me like, yep, check.
Okay.
And so,
All right.
I was like, okay, I'm all in.
Okay.
Oh wow. Okay.
All right. So did you know what?
So wait, no.
Yeah, go ahead.
'Cause he said he had a list. So Miss
Mhm.
Kendella, did you have a list?
I wasn't into the whole list. I had a request because prior to him, I had come out of a relationship with my children's father, and I had hit rock bottom actually. And prior to getting with him, I was working on um, restoration, basically.
Mhm.
So I was in a place where my only request was, God, the next man I'm with, let him be my husband. But my only thing on my list was, let him have a heart after you, and let him be a person that listens to you. Because I trust that if he listens to God, you won't tell him anything to hurt me intentionally. If he's
Uh-oh.
totally dependent, you won't tell him to do anything to intentionally hurt me. So that was my only request.
So then
I didn't know I can be more specific, but
no, but I think though that from your previous relationship, is it safe to say that you learned that or you desire? Let me stop a minute. From your previous relationship and what you had experienced and everything, you have came to the conclusion to realize that one of the most important things that a man must have, and that is a relationship with God.
absolutely, absolutely.
Where do you put that on the list? Where would you put
That's
that on?
number one. That was my top priority. That was a
Essentially,
must, no non-negotiable.
non-negotiable.
Very
Non-negotiable.
good.
Wow, wow,
Young
wow.
ladies listening out there,
That's very good.
that's awesome.
Um, Now I hear a little voice in the back. So
The little one.
She's
Yeah.
right.
yeah. Well, it's okay because this is I'll tell everybody it's a family show. It's okay to have children, especially when they're little. When they're little. Hold up, let us see it. Yeah, can we see it?
You want to see her? You want to see?
You want to say hi? Say hi.
Hey, Jazzy.
Hi.
That's Jazzy. I did have a photo of you, but I forgot to upload it of the family
Yeah.
because y'all have children, right? So,
Right.
so let's be clear, if you don't mind. So Jazzy is how old is she?
She's 2.
Two.
She's
Blowing
2.
kisses.
So and she's from YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you married in Kendella, you already had 2 children,
I
right?
have to. Yes.
Okay. What are their ages right now and names?
Emily, she's 18 years old, and Elijah is 14 years old.
That's amazing. So here it is, Elijah. So you've been together for 13 years. And 13 years you've been together. And Elijah then was 1 years old.
Yes.
Can you explain or talk to us about even let's not even negate Emily. Okay, so I guess she was about 6 then, right? I guess if the math is right, 5 or 6 somewhere along there
Right.
when you all started dating. So how did you feel though about Lee being around your children, especially so young?
By default, I'm a very trusting person. So, um, and Lee's spirit didn't give off anything untrustworthy. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt until he showed me anything, and he's yet to show me anything. And my children gravitate to him instantly, especially Elijah. He had something in him that when it came to male figures, he always wanted, he needed that. He needed someone in his life. So Lee's the only man he's known as a father. Like he doesn't really
His
know.
biological father.
Right. His biological father. He knows his name, but as far as a father figure,
Having that relationship.
this is his father. And so
How do you feel about that though, Lee?
Mhm.
Gravitating to, especially, I definitely want to focus on Elijah because I think that's very important. Because I really want you to tell your story, your relationship, as far as uh, as far as getting in a relationship with a woman who already have children.
Right.
What was that experience like for you?
It was unique for me. Um, but it was it was sort of easy too because Elijah made it that way. Like when I he instantly opened up to me and ran to me and arms wide open and just embraced me. And so he made me feel welcome and loved, and so I just took to him easy. With Emily, it was a little bit harder because she knew her father, and she really loved her father.
Yeah.
And so our bond has grown over the years, but initially it was a little rough with her.
What
But
adjustments did you have to make though with your own personal life now? You being a young man.
right.
So I guess how old were you when you all started dating, if I can ask that question?
I was 20. No, I was 27
I was
when
When
you
you
were 22. Yeah, yeah, I was 27.
27 years old, you
Mhm.
still have your own life.
Right.
And then yet still you're taking on the role of a
Right.
father figure over young children. And you did that for 8 years
Right.
at least.
Right.
Ever have any reservations that it is you investing all your time into these children,
Right.
and there's a possibility that uh, this relationship wouldn't last? Would you have reservations behind it?
It's funny. It's funny you asked that because I had no reservations. In my mind, she was my wife.
Wow.
Those were my kids, and I had no reservations. And see, in my life, my father was in and out of my life, and once I grew up, I was like, I'm not gonna be like that. I want to be there for my children, and so that's something that I've always wanted to do. That's one of the reasons why I feel like God put us together, is because I'm supposed to be the very thing that I wanted to have. Like I wanted a father to be there for me, and I believe I'm here. God put me in a situation to be that thing that I want.
So you were set on this from the beginning, from day
Yes,
one.
sir. Yes, sir.
But he said that though. He said with his list, he said she was all of that on the list.
Yeah, but you know what?
That's awesome because he's so young, and
I,
most
I
young men today, that's not their story.
I guess especially when you say they wrote a list.
Correct.
Hmm.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
God ordained, I feel.
So how do you feel though? Did you ever had any reservations, Kendall?
No. I think before he was sure, I was more sure than he was, honestly. There was a period of time where I think I might have scared him away with how sure I was. And um, there was a time where, I don't know if you remember this, Ben, but when he found out I had children, this was before he got to that sure point, and he found out I had children. This was in that beginning stage where we were talking on Facebook. He was he wanted to kind of distance from talking to me for a while, and um, I I was convicted as far as knowing that this is my person right here. So I went back to God about it, and I'm like, God, I believe you showed me this man. So I went back to him and I believe outflowed out of my spirit. I texted him. I said, I respect that you wanted to have this space, But could it be possible that we're in each other's life for I to aid in your healing and you in my restoration? Or did I say it in the opposite way? I don't remember if it was for him and my healing and I and his restoration. And he didn't really respond, and he had to go back to God and to hear from God. And he's like, God, I think it was restoration for him and healing for me. And he's like, God, restore me to what? Restore me to what? And it was for him, it was to love again, and for me to heal. So for both of us, we both were helping each other become whole again.
Wow. And I have a question I want to ask in reference to the children.
Okay.
In what way did they help with this your relationship, if they did?
You know, there were times where we were at odds with each other, and it would always be, especially Elijah, he would never see that. He would never see that. He would always want us to come together. He would always try to find something, or want to do something, or he would always ask to do something to bring us back together. And you know, because he's a child, we would honor that. So it was always him that helped bring us back together, right?
So then it seems though that really all of you were beneficial to each other.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm hearing.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's, you know what? Let me tell you something. That's powerful. That is extremely, extremely powerful. So even when you all did have conflict, so it was Elijah that was he became y'all superhero, huh?
Right. Yeah. He would always come through. Always.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So how did you propose, Mr. Lee?
Oh, that story.
That story.
It's hilarious, actually.
Oh, well, let me back up. Let me ask this question before that. How at what time and what was it that you knew that it was time to go ahead and make this official?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's funny because actually God used you. And me and you had a conversation. And you know,
I'm gonna listen to this with all ears because I'm like, that came off. If it didn't work, it's my fault. Okay, well, go ahead. Yes, sir.
So we were talking one Sunday, and you were just telling me, you know, just get the ring, just propose, just get the ring. So I had already been talking to God, and you just confirmed what he had been telling me. So I took all what money I had in my savings, and I bought it. I purchased the ring. I was like, I want to do it on the day, like around the time where we became boyfriend and girlfriend. So I took her out. We went segwaying, right? Yeah, we went segwaying on Fort Lauderdale Beach.
What is segway?
And we went to this place.
My wife said, "What is segway?"
Oh, it's the little things you see mall cops on.
Yeah.
So we went. So we like segue on the beach, and it was a fun thing that we did. So we it was this place in Fort Lauderdale on Las Olas riverfront where we would date a lot, called Hazinga Fountain. And so I took her there that night, and I proposed, got on one knee, and
actually where we was right there. That picture,
Okay.
right there.
Yeah,
it's the same place we did our engagement.
Yeah, the same place we did our engagement pictures. And I took her there that night, and got on one knee, and I told her that I loved her, and I wanted to, I wanted to marry her. I wanted her to be in my life forever. So she accepted.
Wow.
I was nervous. Boy, I was nervous.
You was nervous because her not accepting, or what?
I knew she was gonna say yes. That's the thing about it. Like, I knew she was gonna say yes, but I still had those jitters.
Yeah, making a change.
About that question.
Making I guess you could say, just you're getting ready to make another big leap in life.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
that would change your life for the rest of your life. Yeah. So did you have any idea, Kendella?
Yes.
You did?
Oh, you knew it was coming?
Yes.
What little birdie told you? Huh?
The box sticking out of his pocket.
So I guess you were trying to hold it together, huh? You did all you could.
I was trying.
I guess you didn't want to bust his bubble, huh, Kendella? So you acted, went ahead and went through the whole act,
No.
Put on your
I didn't know most of the day, but then when he started, like when we got to Las Olas nighttime and it was time to get out of the car, and he started fumbling around in the bag in the back of the seat, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, what's going on?
Hey, he was trying. Him and him forever. He was trying.
Exactly.
Hey, listen.
But I appreciate it. I did. It was beautiful.
So after the engagement, who was the first person to know?
I think we went back to my parents' house.
Yeah. We went back to her parents' house.
And the response?
And told everybody. Yeah. They were shocked.
But hold on, bro. Hold on, bro. Listen, man. Bro, you ain't asked the daddy yet first, man.
So about that. So he didn't go back to tell them. He went back to ask them, because their requirements were you didn't have to ask before. You just had to ask at some point.
Okay.
So they had a different
comment
on there. So
all right. Okay, so now what has your experience been like for the past 5 years? What have you learned about yourself that you didn't know prior to getting married?
I've learned that my capacity to love is greater than I ever could imagine. Like learning how to be patient, like learning what love is, like they talk about in 1 Corinthians. Learning about patience and long suffering and all those things that love really is. I've seen those increase through these 5 years.
That you have to make those adjustments. You have to make yourself.
You, because I didn't have that capacity before. I'll say that.
Wow. Okay. Well, so it's good you recognize. How about you, Kendella?
I would say along the same lines. I would say the love that I thought I had for him the day of the wedding, I didn't love him.
It's interesting.
That. I think when people get married, that love is the least you'd actually love that person. The longer you stay married, you find out how much you really do love that person. You love that person the least. As much as you feel like you're in love, and that's how I'm speaking for me, as much as I felt like I was in love with him, that's probably the least I was in love with him, or the least I loved him. And I say that in the sense of what love really is. Like he said, that Corinthians love. I couldn't really express or show him that love in the beginning of the marriage, the way that I had to show, or the way that I've chosen to show over the last 5 years. So and it's stretching me, and we're doing it. You know, it has not been easy, and it's not going to be easy, but we're doing it with God's help.
Yeah.
So in essence, you would say that it's work.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Well, since we're talking about love, what would you say your love language is?
Ooh, we like this stuff. My love language is quality time. I love spending time with her, watching whatever, um, doing whatever. I just love to be with her and doing, yeah, just enjoying her company.
That's awesome. Miss Kendella?
I'm a physical touch person. The holding hands, the hugs, all the touches, and all the aboves and belows.
Okay, so question. You're the touchy, he's the time.
Right.
So does it ever become overbearing to you, Kendella, of how much time that he wants to spend with you? And Lee, the question I would ask you, does her touchy at times become a little bit unbearable for you?
Okay.
Okay. Um, Truth be told, no. It doesn't become overbearing simply because total transparency, we have not actually spent a whole lot of time with each other. We can spend a whole lot more time with each other. Um, if we
And that's
put
something you're working on.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
something we're working on. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. With the physical touch can at times be overbearing for me. Um, she's like I've grown to embrace it more and more. I'll say that. I've grown to
That's
embrace it
good.
more and more.
That's good.
Yeah.
But what there's something that like you was talking about the quality time.
Hmm.
That's something that you guys do a lot. I like when you do your family time together, your outings and stuff.
Right.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
beautiful because a lot of families they really don't, spend that time together. They maybe carve out maybe vacation once a year, but
Yeah.
no, you guys try to do it. I mean, how often do you implement that quality time together?
Well, we try to do it as often as we can
We try.
because like our families, we didn't see a lot of that in our families. So when we came together, that was something that was on each of our hearts. That when we got married, we wanted to spend that kind of quality time with the kids. You know, just us, just going out, being out, hanging out, enjoying one another, going on trips and doing different things like that. Because we didn't really get that when we were kids.
Growing up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just make that conscious effort to
Yeah.
to do that.
Okay. Have something, sir? 'Cause I feel you.
Okay. All right. So what I'm hearing both of you though, and this is important for the audience and those who may see or go back and watch this video to realize though, and I'm not, correct me if I'm right or wrong. As long as you were dating, it was one thing, but once you got married, started cohabitating together, you realize that what you did while you was courting, that wasn't gonna work in this marriage, huh? Now, y'all quiet on that.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah. We had there were a few things that we saw that needed to be changed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because people listen, look, my wife and I, we've we've had to make a lot of adjustments.
Yeah.
I know I did. And especially for me, my wife, like she was sharing with me yesterday, and conversation you had with one of young ladies that she was in the prison of. Talking about I'm a man's man, So being a man's man, I had to ask her, hey, explain what that is because I want to know how you're thinking, you
Uh-huh.
know. And one of the things I guess because I'm a very domineering man, but I had to make adjustments, not to be because even though I love her and I mean no harm, but if my domineering is overbearing for her, then if I love her, then I need to adjust that. And one of the things though I can definitely say though, communication is so key.
Yeah.
Where does communication fall on your list? I know God for one, because y'all pointed that out, each other having God.
Mhm.
Where does communication fall on the list? Y'all mentioned about quality time, spending
Right.
time together. Where does communication fall in on
Well, that's one of the things that we're working on. We see the need for it to be higher on the list right now. It's a work in progress right now, to be honest. Because I think we communicate. We have different communication styles,
Mhm.
and we're trying to
Navigate.
learn how to speak the like I'm trying to learn how to speak her language. She's trying to learn how to speak mine, in a sense. And so yeah, we're still working on that.
You know what? I'm going to tell y'all something. It's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all wrong with that because you communicate differently. Both of you communicate differently. There's no such thing as you communicate the same. It will not work.
Right.
I'm going to tell you.
If you did communicate the
If you,
same, it would not
it
work.
would not work.
Because we had the same issue in the very beginning, and sometimes it's still even now.
Yeah. But I don't be so pushy because if something arrives, I like to discuss it right then and there, where she doesn't. She needs that space, that time, I guess, for whatever reason. So I
I have to
respect that.
process.
Yeah, she has to. Yes, right. She has to process it. So even then, like now, but what we would do, or what I would do, or babe, something so and so happened, and I think it's something we need to talk about or discuss, or because I have learned how she processed stuff, I'll wait till that time that I feel that and believe or sense that I can have that conversation with her, then that's what I would do. But what you making, and I know you've been married for 5 years now, and it's interesting though that you was courting for 8 years, and you never thought about the importance of communicating. So it's going to always be a little difference in the two, but I don't want to do all the talking. I definitely want to hear from you all. But where do you rate communication? Well, of course, you said it's something you're working on right now. What about you,
Mhm.
Kendella?
I mean, I agree with him. I'm in total agreement with the communication, um, everything he said as
Mm-hmm.
far as our styles. I'm right there with him. We're both learning how to navigate it. As he said, I can identify with the way that you communicate, Minister Lionel. I'm like right there.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes up, let's talk about it. And like I'm why aren't you saying anything?
Right.
Because I'm thinking, what is there to think about? You know, you know.
Same. It's the same. It's the
Uh-huh.
same. And even if she says something to me at times, you say you're not listening or you don't hear her. And no, it's not. I'm gonna tell you, and again, transparency.
Correct.
The reason that I don't respond, because sometimes the way I will respond the first time when I hear it, it won't be nice.
Right.
So I have to hold it back and make sure that when I do say something, that I'm not attacking or I'm never want to tear her down
Right.
or hurt her in any way. And that's my responsibility as her husband. Again, I call it protecting her. I have to protect her feelings. I have to protect how she feels. I have to protect her sensitivity. I have to protect her femininity, if I pronounced that right. You know,
But
go ahead.
sometimes he kind of forgets. I guess, like I was saying about that man's man, and he forgets because he's so caught up in whatever it is that he's doing that he don't think before he release. Sometimes, because I mean, we just had this,
Yeah.
yeah, and I told him, I said, "Where's your compassion? You're not
No,
being,
that's the way you say. You said, "Oh, you're just being too hard."
yeah."
I just hugged. Okay, baby, I apologize. I don't mean to be
And
too
he
hard.
reeled it back in.
Yeah, because because especially when I'm in that zone and I got to get stuff done, hey, don't get in the way, But that's the thing. Listen, we've been together since 2004, and we're still learning each other.
Mhm.
We're still learning each other, and I want to point that out. So where you find yourself at, don't be so critical. I want to say this to you all that you're still learning, and I guarantee you, if you can look back and go back some of look at some of the interviews that we've had, even those couples that they've been doing it for a long time,
Mhm.
they are still learning their spouses. They're still learning how to make adjustments. Question: what is the one thing that you, Kendella, had to learn that you learned about Lee after marrying him that you did not know prior to marrying him?
Mm, hmm. I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
Oh.
Okay, well, I mean, listen, I tell you what, let me see if I can redefine the question.
Okay.
That you okay, I didn't see that side of Lee before. Oh man, it's so amazing. I didn't know he loved the way that he loved. I didn't know that he was into, or let's say his thinking was that intellectual. See, I'll give you an example. My wife is the most compassionate person about everybody. She don't see any wrong with anyone, but yet still though, seeing that side of her and with her being like that, it gave me a different perspective on how to look at people as well. Because I'd be wanting to rip, just say what I gotta
Yes,
say and
Lord.
keep. So, but being around her and seeing that about her has really okay, that some of that compassion has rubbed off on me, you can say. So, but yeah. So what about you, Lee?
Okay. Well, I just like you were saying about your wife, her love and compassion, it's really her generosity. Like she thinks about others. She'll always try to give somebody a gift, and whether it's their birthday or not, or she's just really thinking about others. And so that's rubbed off on me a lot because I'm a kind person, but I wasn't so generous, but with her, like with that example showing me like, no, you got to do this, you got to do that. Like, so, and I could see how it affects people and how much they appreciate it. And so it's just, it changed me forever.
Yeah, she's very giving.
Yeah.
I remember she surprised me with a gift, and I was like, "Oh wow, okay, thank you." And the book,
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
You're right. Yeah, see?
it was really nice.
Right.
So, Lee, I have this question for you. What is your approach for maintaining your wife's happiness in the marriage?
Ooh. Well,
Be careful.
I, I pray. I pray. It's a lot of prayer. And I really study her. I really watch her, and I try to do. I try to give her the things that she doesn't ask for, but that she needs.
Oh, that's
Oh,
good.
that's good.
Yeah. So she didn't know that she wanted it or needed it, but I could see, by studying her, that she needs it, and so she might not see it in the moment, but later on she appreciates the gift.
It's true.
I love
So,
that.
so who's the spark in the relationship?
What do you mean?
Who's the dominant one?
That's the thing. We're like the flip side of the same coin. So there are moments where she is, and there are moments where I am. So it depends on what you're talking about.
Who's the more vocal?
Okay, that's her. That's
Okay.
definitely her. Yeah,
The person who more quick to do the talking. Now, and see now, let me explain to the listening audience. By me referring to it as dominant, it doesn't mean that she's domineering over you as her husband. I'm not saying that. But you got it, okay. I'll put it like this. I refer to it as positive attraction. Because if both of you were outspoken,
right,
y'all be bumping heads every day.
yeah.
If both of you was laid back, it won't be no relationship. Y'all be looking elsewhere for some fun.
Right.
So one is the positive and one is the negative. It's always like that in order for the marriage to work. So I mean, if you look back on some of the interviews, you'll see where it was the wife that was more outspoken, and in others it was the husband who was more outspoken. In the relationships, so it's a balance. It's a balanced thing. So how do y'all handle discipline with the children?
Who's the disciplinarian?
Well, I am. She's more of vocally. I'm more of like making sure that they complete whatever the punishment was or whatever. I'll make sure that they do what they're supposed to
You
do.
didn't enforce her.
There you go.
She sets the rules and you enforce.
Yes.
I make the noise.
Have you ever had any pushback? As far as let's take Emily. Have you ever had any pushback from her when it came to discipline, and when you had to enforce? Kendella, how did that make you feel? Because sometimes that can be an issue in relationships as well, in marriages as well. It's not your child, or I'm not your dad,
right?
Not my mama, so you can't talk to me like that. You bet not touch me.
Right. And so
okay,
I have gotten some pushback. It hasn't been verbal like that. Like, she's very respectful. And she's never said anything to me like that face to face. But it would be more like trying to get around what she's supposed to do. but I still, I'm like, no, you got to do that. No, so I call her up.
And Kendella, who you backing up?
Him, of course. It's never been where I felt divided or anything. I have had moments where I did feel torn, because I do have an open door to my children. I do have it where I do want them to express what's going on with them. I do want to hear them, because I said yes. So I don't want it to be where it's like I said yes, so bump y'all, I've always had a dynamic with them when we talk, and we talk, and I want to hear how they're feeling, but I also bring correction to how they're feeling if that's the case. Right. And if it needs to be redirected, well, you need to speak to him, because he's not like that. Of course I'm defending him, or I'll bring it back to him that, hey, this is what's going on with them, and I'll suggest it to him. Maybe you should talk to him because this is what's or to her. This is what's going on, and we need to speak into this before anything else is birthed.
Oh, that's good. That's
You
good.
know. And recently we were going through something with one of the children, and I saw it from a spiritual aspect where I saw the spirit wants to find another ear
Mhm.
to speak to, because he didn't agree with a choice that he made. So it's like, no, I saw it. So okay, Dad, I need you to speak to that spirit,
That's
Mhm.
good.
because this is what's going on. I saw it, brought it to. So as the guardian of this family, I saw it, I brought it to him, and
Mhm.
he handled it. So it's
That's
sort of like being that median for between the children and dad. So it's like I'm there for both of them, but ultimately I have his back.
that's really good, and that's very important in the marriage. So that's good. So, Kendella, what is the number? Because we gotta wrap up soon. We're gonna
Oh,
be wrapping up. What is the number one advice you would share with a young wife?
Um, Number one advice to share the young life. Right now, I would say, um, just to remember to love anyhow, to love him anyhow. And I say that in the sense of remember not to always doing one of these,
Pointing that finger.
because
That's
all these fingers are pointing backwards at you. So while you're waiting for God to change this one, and let's say God does work on him,
Mhm.
and you're causing all these issues with this,
Mhm.
wow.
and he's worked on him, and now he's where he needs to be, but because you did all this and now you've done stuff to yourself and maybe even caused rift between him, he's right, but now you're the problem.
Correct.
It's good.
That is really good.
It's good.
So let the Lord work on you and just keep loving him in the process.
Wow. Wow. What
That's
about you, Lee?
powerful.
What would you say to young husbands?
I would say that it's just like I was telling you before. I would say to them that you know be be gentle with your wives. Be really listen to them. Be an active listener. Be present for their concerns. Be present for their needs and their wants. Really study your wife and get to know things she likes and doesn't like. And I would say, but make sure above all, that you stay in the presence of God, because it's there that you can get any and everything that you need. It's the wisdom there. It's everything that you need there. So make sure that you build that altar. Wake up, in your morning, have your devotion. That's what I do. In the morning, I have my devotion, and I get wisdom from God for to how to lead my family, how to go about my day at work and everything else. So that's what I would tell them.
I got it. That I
Okay.
learned about him.
Okay.
He's an awesome prayer warrior and a worshiper. I didn't know that about him. I
Wow.
can count on him to pray.
That's
I
good.
didn't know.
See, we started with a focus on the importance of God, and we're ending with the importance of God. Oh, that's great.
And
That's
that's
great.
one thing I love about you all's marriage. Your whole relationship began with God
Yeah,
being the center,
yeah.
even the courting, the dating, all of that.
Mhm.
And it followed, spilled right over into the marriage. That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah. All right. Well, you got any last sayings before we get out of here?
No,
Thank
it's
you.
been, yeah, thank you. It's been
Thank
great.
you for having us.
Yeah.
No, listen, this was a rather interesting interview. I
Okay.
learned a lot.
We share some great nuggets.
Definitely,
Awesome.
definitely. So I'm gonna put y'all backstage. Don't go anywhere, and then we'll be here. But we're gonna get off of here in a minute, okay? Just hang on.
Okay.
That was great.
That was awesome.
Yeah, but we got to get out of here. So we ain't gonna delay, but I do wanna say we're going to be back. We'll be back here next week. Yeah,
Yes,
the
next
26th,
week.
and our guest is going to be the Williams,
The Williams.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bo and Mary's Williams. This young lady is my go ahead, say who she
My
is.
former
Yeah.
work daughter.
Yeah. Beautiful people, beautiful
Yes, they
couple.
are.
You know, and it dawned on me today that I married these two.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
They just celebrated an anniversary.
Yeah.
I don't know what number it is, but yeah. How
Oh,
many years?
I think maybe 10 years.
They might. Oh yeah, it's around Teresa and Drew.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
10 years. Wow.
So they're gonna be with us next week. I'm waiting to hear this one. Listen, you know, the Lord has really blessed us with some great interviews on this show.
Mhm. Yes, he
And
has.
it's been fun. But hey, it's going to sound kind of like a laid back interview tonight.
Uh-huh.
But it was good. It was good. And we want to thank all of you for your watching. Please share the word. Spread the word that we're here on this channel. If you like what we're doing here, please like, share, and comment.
And subscribe.
And subscribe. And let people know we're here and what we're doing. And especially if you enjoy the content. Okay. Hey, we'll see you all next week. God
Good
bless.
night.
Good night.